Hello, children. Are you ready for some cutting up and kikiing? Are you ready for a gay old time? Well, I hope you are, because now it's time for Hey Qween with your host, Jonny McGovern!
Hey Qween, come on and spill the tea. Hey Qween, it's just a good old-fashioned kiki. Hey Qween, we're cutting up with Jonny. Hey, 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 hey Qween.
Hello, my cute and clever companions, and welcome to another colorful and classy episode of with me, your host. Today's show is going to be colossal. Our guest is an original, a pioneer, one of the first on a show that has gone on to phenom status. From season 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race, the one, the only, the infamous Shanell is here. But before she dazzles her way out here, there's another OG phenomenon that you gotta know. She's my sidekick with a lipstick. And like a unique, majestic butterfly, she's flowy and showy, fluttery and buttery. It's Miss Lady Red Couture. Yeah, I like that. Sweetie. Sweetie.
Oh, I'm stuffed.
You look like a disco conductor.
I thought I looked like a waiter about to get off of my shift at the buffet.
I don't know what buffet you're working at, but it's a very loose morals buffet.
I mean, it's called Titties, Wings, and More.
I want to go to Titties, Wings, and More.
Yes, we offer the finest titties, wings, and more.
Oh, it's great that everything it offers is right in the title.
Right in the title. Can't deny it. It's kind of like my ex-boyfriend. Can't deny it.
This is a great look.
This is fun. You know, I like Vegas. And when I used to live in Vegas, I always wanted to dress up and just walk around and see if people would give me money. You know, down on the strip and just be like, see what's going on. But I never had the balls to do it. So I just leave it at home and now I do it as content.
Yeah, now you do it as being a professional, walking around, being big, and hoping people give you money. That's just your thing now.
Oh, that's nice. Titties, wings, and more. Thank you very much.
Today on the show, we have Shanell, one of your old girlfriends.
Yes, I love her. From the first time I met her, she was always an encouraging spirit and a little haughty, which I love. I love a haughty girl who knows who she is, honey. So yes, bring her
She's
out.
the Grand Dame of Vegas, sweetie.
Yes, baby. And you know what? I just appreciate that she has always been the same person. You know what I mean? So yes, girl, I'm ready to get her out here and get it started.
Now, you lived in Vegas at different times in your life.
Yes, lived there for 5 years. I thought I was big dog McGraw, honey. Yes, honey, got there and figured out as soon as you move there, your pay rate changes.
Oh, so you wouldn't consider yourself a high roller?
Yes, I do get high, and I like to roll her.
Well said. All right, well, we have Shanell on the show today, everybody.
Yay!
Yeah! And we'll be with her right after this very gay break.
Yeah!
Our guest today is the OG of Drag Race Season 1, the very first queen to walk into the very first workroom on episode 1. She's the Barbra Streisand of drag, and she's the ultimate diva, Las Vegas. I'm talking about Shanell.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
I am thrilled to get you here.
It's been a long time in the making.
I know it has.
I do. I feel like we've kind of had this conversation several times, and we're finally doing it, so I'm excited.
I've been courting you for years.
You have. So thank you very much. I'm excited.
Lady Red, can you believe it?
Oh my God, we finally got her here. I'm just so excited to see her and not be judged.
Well, we've known each other actually for a very long time. We haven't seen each other in a long time, but we old, girl.
Well, yeah.
But we look good.
You was one of them first girls who supported me, and I remember that.
Amen to that. Amen to that. You have to support your sisters.
Yes. Now let's talk right up on top about the exciting new gig you have in Las Vegas.
It's wonderful, isn't it? The WOW show.
Yes.
It's been a long time in the making, and to bring Drag Race to a live spectrum in the biggest entertainment capital, I mean, realistically in the entire world.
Yeah.
It needed to happen. And so it is such an honor because, you know, with there being so many drag racers out there, I'm certain that, you know, every girl wants to be a part of it. And eventually, I'm sure due to the rotation of the show, all of the girls are going to come in at different points in time. So being in Las Vegas, it was needed, I think. You know, you've got all these multi-million-dollar production shows. And RuPaul's Drag Race being the biggest thing in the entire world, I mean, Emmy after Emmy after Emmy, why not bring it live and literally put it in the laps of everybody? So I am so honored and I'm so excited to do it.
What a gig. When
It
Lady
is.
Red and I heard about that gig, we said, well, that is it. I was
It's
like,
the one.
that's the one.
It's the one. It's like the pinnacle of pinnacles, for me at least. You know,
Right.
I've lived in Vegas off and on since I was 20, and I lived there for 9 years, and then I moved away to Seattle and then back to California. And even though I wasn't born in Vegas, it kind of drew me back there a few years ago. And when I moved back, I thought, this is going to be the moment. Something big is going to happen. And I have been so amazingly blessed with the career that I've had my whole entire career, but being back in Vegas this time, and then when this came about, it was like, you know, you just start checking them off one by one, and I thought, I literally couldn't ask for anything more. So I'm really honored and really humbled to be able to be a part of it.
And such a sweet gig. You already live there?
Yeah.
5 nights a week?
I get to go home, sleep in my bed at night with my pillow, and do my own thing. So I'm very excited.
Bar gigs, just like the highest production values.
Yeah, and it really will be. I mean, the sets, the renderings, the showroom itself, it's beautiful because the showroom itself at the Flamingo has such a very old school, traditional Vegas vibe, which is my favorite. I enjoy modern, but I love culture. And for me, when I was a kid growing up and when I would take trips to Las Vegas with my parents, we would go and see shows. And I loved the red leather, you know, button-tucked booths and things like that. And this room kind of incorporates all of those things again. So you're getting the new, the most recent, the beauty of Drag Race, but you're kind of setting it in Vegas that gives you all that culture and that beauty that was so good back in the day.
Oh,
So,
that is gonna be so good.
It's
Lady
gonna be-
Red, you gotta get on Drag Race just so you can get that gig so you and Shanell can do the show.
Well, that's one reason to get on Drag Race.
Amen, amen, sister.
Shanell, we have so much to go into. You've had such a storied career, so many different things that you've done. Even before the world met you on Drag Race,
Right.
you had a long career.
Yeah.
I was telling you before, I was like, you know, we all saw you walk into the workroom and then you were juggling and then you were on stilts, but you didn't just pop out like that. There has to have been a journey to that. So I'm excited to really get into it with you.
Okay, cool.
Now, if you want to hear more from Hey Qween, then you're going to have to go on all of your social medias and follow us at Hey Qween TV. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Black People Meet, wherever you find
Farmers
Hey Qween
Only.
TV. Oh, yes, thank you. Farmers Only.
Don't get it
We're
twisted, boo.
on
You gotta
right
give it up to the farmers.
Well, let's get into the time machine. Hold my hand, Shanell. Here we go. Whoa. Shanell, look around. Is it familiar to you? It's Orange County, California.
It is.
What were you like as a kid?
I was a real introvert, actually. I was real shy and real quiet and really didn't have many friends. You know, when other little kids, when other little boys would be out, you know, getting scrapes and bruises and cuts and playing with Legos and things like that, I was inside, I was doing magic tricks and I was juggling and riding unicycles and doing art. I've always been artistic, so I was painting and drawing and putting little monster kits and car kits together and things like that. I didn't really have a lot of friends, and I didn't really understand why, but I also don't think that I was heavily bothered by it because I was so involved with the things that I was able to do with my hands that created art.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what about juggling and stilts? Like, who taught you those things?
It's interesting, my kindergarten teacher, when we would be out at recess, after she would, you know, write everybody's name and check everybody off that everybody was out there and accounted for, she would bring chalkboard erasers. And when she was bored, she would stand there and she would just take 3 erasers and she would juggle. And again, all the other kids are out there playing, and I would stare at her and I would watch her and I thought, God, that is so fascinating. So I kind of became the teacher's pet, and I would constantly, every day on the playground, I would walk up to her and I told her that I wanted her to teach me. And so she did. So it took me probably about a year or so, and I would go home and I would grab oranges, and then I would grab wine glasses, so I make an orange juice on the carpet, and breaking glasses on the ground, but that's kind of how I learned to do that. And then unicycling, my father, when he was a child, rode unicycles. So he's the one who actually taught me how to ride a unicycle.
Wow.
And you can't buy a unicycle that was that small at that time, so we had to put these huge lifts on the pedals so that my feet could actually grab it. Yeah. And I remember for Christmas, actually, one year, and I was 9 years old, they bought me a 6-foot tall unicycle. And that's where your butt sits at 6
Right.
foot. And of course, when you're that young and you're this small, so I had to actually get on a ladder to get on the top of this unicycle. And I would hold the railing of my garage door, and that's how I taught myself to do that.
Wow.
So then I started doing that, and then I was starting to juggle on the unicycle.
Right.
So I kind of was a little Ringling Brothers circus clown when I was a little kid.
You were well prepared for your life.
Who would have
as
ever
one of
thought?
the greatest clowns of them all.
Who would have ever thought? You know, they say destiny and things happen, so I suppose that's kind of where it led for me.
Who were your idols as a kid? I mean, you're known for so many incredible impressions. Were any of those impressions of people that you loved as a kid?
Yeah, you know, I grew up watching The Golden Girls, watching I Love Lucy, things of that nature. So for me, Lucille Ball has always been and will always be my biggest idol. She is the most amazing comedic genius of all time. In fact, I have probably one of the largest Lucille Ball / I Love Lucy collections in the world, actually. I have a museum in my home that's just wall-to-wall glass cabinets. And it's
Amazing.
got artifacts from the TV show and personal items and old advertising and all kinds of really wonderful things. And so she was a huge inspiration for me growing up, based on her comedy. And I always really loved the 40s and 50s glamour of things, be it in fashion, advertising, marketing, things of that nature.
What's in your Lucy collection that I'd say what are your top 3? I know it's hard to choose.
I have an amazing oil painting of Desi Arnaz that actually hung in their home.
Wow.
And I have a photo of them sitting on their couch with the painting behind, and that's pretty fantastic. I have the bull riding hat that she wore in the episode where she's, fighting the bull. I have a lot of really cool things. A lot of old Philip Morris cigarette advertising,
Right.
like store displays. I even have the actual original cigarette cartons that pictured Lucy and Desi on them, advertising like Christmas and Father's Day and things of that nature. Yeah.
What a
cool.
perfect time to smoke a cigarette.
Absolutely. Smoke for pleasure. That's what they
Christmas
say.
on
Tap.
right,
Definitely.
tap.
Definitely.
Lucille Ball loved her cigarettes.
She sure did.
Yes, she
well,
did.
Philip Morris was a sponsor for I Love Lucy.
They
So
sure
you had
were.
to.
You had to
didn't
keep
have a
smoking.
choice. Definitely.
Hey Queens, thanks for watching. For part 2 of this interview, click here. For more Hey Queen fabulousness, click here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.